Good morning, everyone. As I said I would, I am going to post up a video, this video in fact, of the Android 10.25 inch head unit for my BMW X5, which is a 2008 model. It is the 3-litre SD, which is the 286 brake horsepower diesel. My car has quite a few optional extras, ones that will integrate with this unit, namely I have Pro navigation, the multi-changer CD unit, I have DAB radio, a TV tuner, parking distance sensors, and the OEM reverse camera. Now, my car originally came with the CCC style unit navigation menu, and I found it very slow, laggy, very dated, as I imagine most of you do as well. And that goes, I think, for the CIC units as well in the 2009, I believe it is, and onwards models. It's a very dated system, so I want to bring everything back up to sort of 2018. In terms of tech and the way head units now work in cars. Must also note that I have the Logic 7 system, or the DSP system, in the X5, 16 speaker system, and I'm a bit of an audiophile, so I had to have that in this car. And I also wanted this unit to produce really good sound when I'm listening to my music, because I love a little bit of music. So this unit had to produce good audio. The video itself will entail not necessarily installation, because there's loads of installation videos on YouTube. There's no wrong way to install it in terms of taking out the different parts of the OEM equipment and obviously putting the head unit back in place of the original screen. There are a few things that you need to note when installing it in your car, in regards to what model or what year model you have and what optional extras you have as well. And that's what this video will go through. So yeah, the first part will be sort of an installation, little quirks and little things you should look out for when you're installing, to make sure that everything works with the head unit in tandem with the car. And the second part will be my user experience so far. I will go through quite a few things, different apps, how I've found the navigation, menu fluidity, and how smooth the system is, etc. And then I will finally do a part with questions. The questions that you guys have asked me, I'll try and answer them in the video towards the end. And I will also incorporate things I've noted, pros and cons style things I've noted. So this will be a little bit of a long video, guys. I apologise for that, but at the same time gives you a good in-depth sort of review and look at the unit, and then you can decide whether you want to commit to buy this or you want to avoid it, really. So sit back and enjoy. So there we go, guys. Let's kick off with how it was to install. Once again, I won't show you how to fully install the unit. As I said, there's loads of videos on YouTube, very sort of detailed ones that take you step by step, so there's no need for me to do an installation video. I will say straight off the bat that it was very easy to install. In terms of doing all the wires behind here, when you take out each part, it's simple, very, very simple. The instructions that are online are easy to follow. The harnesses that you get with it are easy to follow. Connecting all the wires back up and then putting everything back. There's enough space down the back and the sides of all these pieces to store all the extra wires. Just take this bit out just to show you partially what it's about. I've removed some of the screws to make it easy to remove the new screen. I will show you in here that all the wires, the extra wires, will run down the center of the whole thing, which will lead up to this new screen. As you can see, I've taken the screws out, and this unit pops down and out like that. Please excuse the mess, although this is quite tidy for me. I've tied up some of the cables that come with it, and that's how it looks behind. Yeah. In regards to the screen itself, it fits fantastically. It looks OEM, and the quality of the fit and finish is absolutely fantastic. In regards to the back of the unit, you have more than enough cables and leads and connections for various different things. You can have your front and rear facing dash cams. You can have a DVR if you want add another video player. I have dual USB cable there that actually is routed into my glove box. If I can open that up just to show you, it is a little bit messy now. I haven't worked out the cables yet. I took the internals of the glove box out, which is also shown in some of the videos online on how to install, and I have run a dual USB cable, if I can find it, it's currently one of them, into the glove box. I think I will actually be rerouting them down through the center console and possibly into the armrest, so it looks a little bit more tidier, and it's a place I would actually access more than the glove box. There's also, I've installed the GPS puck, should I say, the GPS antenna puck that came with the new screen. Although I will be, or I have purchased a aerial splitter for the car's OEM aerial, that splits it between the original navigation and the new head unit. Cost me little less than £5 to purchase. You can work that out for your local currency. It costs nothing for the splitter, and that's something I will be installing at a later date. As I said, there are loads of feeds back here. You don't have to have these cables in there. I've just put them in there because there is enough space to store them down the back here. And should I need to connect anything in the future, i.e. I may install a newer rear reversing camera, because the OEM one, the quality isn't that great, and I would like something a little bit more HD or a little bit more clearer to use with this unit to really show it off. In terms of wiring, setting up again, this is really easy. You may notice in some of the online videos that there is a cable, or a harness, should I say, a wire provided that connects to the center speaker, which is in the dash. I have the DSP system, so I have the center speaker. I have the 2008 CCC, so I didn't actually need or require a cable for that to be integrated into the system, the center speaker. And it plays absolutely fine with any music, navigation, videos, etc. I think with the CIC and onwards, you need to tell the seller of your unit that you have that particular OEM unit, and they will supply a cable which connects that. I think the wiring is slightly different in the newer models, so that just allows the center speaker to be integrated into the new unit, the new head unit. Whilst I have the new screen down and off the dash, I will explain the sound that comes through the aux. Now, if I can find it, this unit will come with a cable which has an aux connector like this. This black one is usually connected directly to this in a streamlined sort of way, like that. When I connected it to my car, I did not have any sound when these two black cables were connected together. So I've disconnected them. I've connected my own aux cable, my Griffin cable. I absolutely love this cable. It's very high quality cable. Connected it directly to the aux, and this cable runs all the way down through the center console and comes into my glove box and connects to the factory aux port. That is a noise filter. It doesn't have any noise on it, but I thought I'd put it on there just in case it stops any sort of interference or anything. But it connects directly to the car's aux input. You'll also notice that there comes a ground wire there for the head unit. There's a perfect spot just behind here where a bolt actually connects to bare metal. Perfect spot for the ground. Other than that, there isn't anything else to say. The wiring is extremely easy. As I said, all the videos will explain what to do and wire up. The only things you should note is the aux cable. Like I said, if it's connected, the black ones are connected to each other and you're getting no sound, you need to disconnect them and connect your own aux cable and take it all the way down the center console to the armrest, and connect it to the factory aux in. The only other thing to note would be the T-harness that is down the bottom here. When you get down to connecting the initial bit of the T-harness, or the main T-harness, which connects to the CD/DVD unit at the bottom there, the videos will also explain this, that you need to take the optical cable, which is like a ribbed black sleeved cable with a green cable, from the OEM harness, disconnect it from there and connect it into the new part of the T-harness that comes with this screen. It's all in the videos. That needs to be done. Ensure that you do that before you put everything back, because it is going to make it a very long day if you have to disassemble everything and take all these bits out again. As I say, they are the two main bits that you need to concern yourself with. Is the optical cable that you take out of the OEM harness and connect it into the new harness that comes with this unit, and the aux cable. I believe these are the two most common issues that people will experience when installing this unit, hence why people have mentioned that they don't get no sound, and they've had some issues with any other sort of OEM stuff and the car integrating with the new screen. Now on to the next bit, user experience. So I will take you through as much as I can on this unit that I think is relevant for the video, and to obviously make an informed sort of purchase. So here we go. So this is the unit itself. It's all on. I will run you through this briefly. As you can see, this is the OEM screen. This will operate via the iDrive knob still. Absolutely seamless as it ever was. I've taken my navigation DVD out because I now use the navigation on the new Android side of the head unit. But this is, it still works exactly as it should. All the optional extras are still working. Sound, Bluetooth, everything, it still works as it should. It actually looks really quite clean and quite crisp on this screen. If you prefer to use this for that reason, then that you know, that's completely up to you. But I bought it for the Android side of the things. And here we go. So all you need to do, you can either touch the screen and that'll take you directly back to the Android menu. Alternatively, you can hold down the menu button on the iDrive, and that will take you back in. So for the purposes of showing this touchscreen, just touch it, goes back in. Now, this current setup, or the way it looks, I believe is for the ID6 Evo setup for BMWs. I'm not 100% sure. I will go in the settings and show you how to change that a little bit later. So we'll basically start off with the menu system. This is how it looks, or this is how it is presented. The touchscreen is nice and responsive. I have got the film still on it, so apologise for any sort of reflection on the screen. I've left the film in it. I haven't taken it off yet. I'm still deciding whether or not I want to put a screen protector on there to stop me from scratching it, or the wife from scratching it. Back to the menu. You can use the iDrive knob. It works absolutely fine. There's no lag, not whatsoever. It works absolutely perfectly. Again, with this, with the iDrive knob, you will need to pick the correct settings to make these things work with the car. When I originally installed it, it didn't work from the factory, but as soon as I went into settings, I set it up to the iDrive, the correct iDrive for my vehicle, and it works perfectly, absolutely perfectly. As you can see, this is what the menu is like on this one. I'll take you into settings first because it can show the differences. Then you have all your menu system and stuff like that. Navigation, you can set up all different sorts of settings. I'm going for this, for example. This is for my OEM reversing camera. I have the original one, as you can see. So when you put it in reverse or press the parking button there, it will bring up the OEM camera and screen. Now, I must mention that this actually looks better on this screen. The quality of the camera is still quite poor, and as I said, I will be looking to get an aftermarket camera to put this unit. There are wireless ones and wired ones which will connect to this screen. It's completely up to you which ones you want to have, but if you fancy upgrading your camera on the rear, boom, you can do it. You can do it. I find this a lot clearer than it was on the OEM screen. It's smaller. It was like I said, the screen was worn. This one is nice and clear, and much better. And as I say, yeah, I am currently using the OEM camera, but I will be looking to go to an aftermarket camera, and then you can turn on the tracking and the radar. If I can show you that without a camera connected, but show you what it actually comes up like. That's how it will come up like. It currently says obviously no signal because I haven't got a camera connected to this, but that's how it will come up. It will show you the parking distance sensors, and this will turn with the wheel. And obviously you have a couple of other settings here, like your brightness, contrast. You can reverse the camera image, and obviously the sensors, etc. So that's how it would come up. There you go. That's how it would come up should I connect an aftermarket camera. Again, these lines are so much clearer than the OEM camera's lines, and I imagine the image for an aftermarket camera as well will look really clear as well. And that's something I will be upgrading. If we go back to the menus again, you've got your settings. There's loads of settings. You got your Wi-Fi. I've currently got this tethered to my mobile phone because I'm on the move. The unit will allow you to utilize GPS, Wi-Fi, and any other form of data connection you have for your the App Store, or the Play Store, shall I say. For your navigation, utilizes Wi-Fi, GPS, and any data connection to a phone or like a mobile hub. I don't know what it's like for in other countries, but in the UK we can have mobile 4G hubs, which are like miniature routers that provide data to laptops and head units, etc. But mine's currently tethered to my phone. You can have an adaptive brightness, so I think it works off of the car's how the car is reacting. So if you have the dusk sensors on your car, when the headlights turn on, this will brighten the screen. During the daytime, the screen will dim, and it it goes with the time of the day. So if it's light out, the screen will be dimmer. When it's night, the screen will be brighter. You can manually adjust this and stop it from following the dusk sensor. But as you can see, it's nice and bright, and it's a nice bright day out, and the screen is really clear and really bright. You can change sounds, shows you apps. There's absolutely loads of settings. I should have gone actually to. If I go to system info, let me show you here. This is the 7.1.1 Android model, not the older 4.4.4, and this is the 32GB memory, 2GB RAM version. So this is the faster, newer Android firmware on this unit. If I go into the factory setup, your password will differ depending on where you buy them from. It's 2018 by the person sold, and this is where you will change the settings that will make your OEM options perform with this unit correctly. You can have a tweak and play around with this, and you'll find what is the correct settings for your particular vehicle. As I've set it, everything is absolutely perfect. With this is actually quite smart. The ARM is this unit, the Bluetooth, and the original Bluetooth is for the car. You can switch to which you want it to be connected to at any time. So if you prefer the car's microphone for Bluetooth calling, switch it to original. If you want to use the new Headunits microphone, Bluetooth connection, etc., it's connected to the ARM Bluetooth. When it comes to this, I haven't fiddled with any of this. I've left it as it is. This is another important one. When it comes to using the iDrive knob to navigate yourself around the Android menu, you will need to change this depending on what your vehicle is. You can access this menu, etc., without the use of the knob, using the touch screen. Just pick the one and whatever one works with your knob, because this will be the 2008 older one, and obviously the newer CIC ones have the buttons up and below the main knob there. Yeah, just change that to what is correct for your particular unit. This stuff doesn't actually refer to the BMW. It's got a load of Audi bits in it as well. This modes set is the look of the menu, the main menu. We'll come back to the main menu there. That is this menu here. That's the app switcher, by the way, which is actually really, really good. And as you can see, there's literally sort of no lag. This is nice, quick and smooth. It's really, really good. So if you come back out, go into settings, go to the factory setup again, 201. There we go. So that is the, if I bring myself back down to it, that is the look. As I said, I've currently picked the BMW Evo ID6 one. There are different Evo ones, I'm not quite sure. I have seen what they're like. They're all very similar, but I prefer the Evo 6 one. I have tried these other ones. One is just like a menu style one. The others have the multiple icons to swipe through on the main menu. It's completely personal choice. I do believe that you can upload via the SD card slot on the side of the unit. You can upload newer ones. Alternatively, you can actually go on the Play Store and actually download different loaders, APK, different loaders that will show the menu in a different way or exactly how you want it. So there's a lot of personalization that can be done with this as well. The rest, I think, is all as it is, really. I mean, you can change all this stuff. I haven't done any of this because I haven't needed to. My sole purpose for this is for navigation and music. People will want to watch videos. They can watch the DVD videos, etc. on this unit, but my sole intention is for music and for navigation, and obviously to bring the whole thing up to 2018 in terms of the tech and the way it looks. Boot logo, you can change the boot logo. Again, you can upload different ones of these via the SD card slot on the side there. It will tell you how to do this in the settings as well, because there is a file manager on this built into this unit. As you can see, I currently have the BMW connected drive one. This is when you turn the car on. This is the logo that will show when you turn the car on before you drive. Again, personal choice, not really overly important. APK, you don't need to know this. Car type. Now this is also important. When you see the OEM screen on this, the OEM menu on this screen, you will need to pick the right one that refers to your vehicle. Once again, when I originally got this from the factory, opened out the box and put it in, it was set to this 6.5 inch CCC, but you need the 8.8 inch if you've got the bigger screen, and then it displays exactly as it was before, like that. Otherwise it sort of cuts off half the screen or stretches the image incorrectly. So that's something else that needs to be set if you're really that bothered about going back to this menu for anything at all. I think the next thing we should start going into now would be the way this unit performs in terms of your music and your navigation, etc. As I say, it works perfectly fine with the reversing camera and the parking distance control sensors. Works absolutely fine with that. When it comes to sound, on the DSP, I can only say on the DSP, which is the Logic 7 unit, it sounds absolutely fantastic. There's absolutely no sound quality issues whatsoever when you're using the music aux sound on this. I have, however, holding back a little bit, but the Bluetooth music on this unit, if you're listening to music via the Bluetooth, it's not fantastic. I'm going to be honest, it's not fantastic. The aux is absolutely spot on, but the Bluetooth sound for music is not great. So if you're someone who looks to listen to Bluetooth music, this may not tick the box for you. But as I said, the aux it sounds absolutely fine. It sounds really, really good using the aux if you're playing music through apps, or if you're connecting your phone via the Android Auto or the Apple CarPlay, which will also require a dongle, by the way. If you use an Apple CarPlay, you will need to buy a CarPlay dongle, which connects to the dual USB that is in the glove box or wherever you've installed it, and it sort of acts like a pass-through, so it sort of communicates between your phone and the head unit. But when you, as I say, we go back to the music or sound. When you're playing sound through that, it's absolutely fine. Bluetooth music is not that fantastic. Bluetooth for calls isn't too bad. I've made quite a few calls on it. The sound isn't as deep or as full as the OEM Bluetooth phone calls, but it works perfectly fine. It was clear. I could hear who was speaking to me perfectly, and the person on the other end could hear me absolutely fine. So that's something that I'm actually quite happy with. In terms of navigation, I have installed Waze. However, the unit does come with Google Maps as standard, and I've also downloaded the Sygic, I believe it is. There is we'll go into this. There is an absolutely copious amount of free navigation apps that you can download from the Play Store on this unit. Waze being probably one of the most popular ones. You've got access to tons. If you can't find one that you like to use on this unit, or you like the whole setup, then I don't know what to suggest, because I've been using Waze on this and it's absolutely fantastic. It's quick, finds destinations and signal really well. Touchscreen is nice and responsive for things like this. As you can see, I'm in sunny Southend in the United Kingdom, currently sitting on the front, and this is absolutely fine. It's got loads of different options, as has Google Maps, funny enough. They're both really good. You can do different voices, different languages, destinations. It allows you to set places like home addresses, work addresses, commuting, and in terms of navigation, where are we? Let's find. In terms of navigation, I'm trying to work out where I'm going now. There you go.
Let's take B1016. 4 Esplanade, Livingston Way, Southend-on-Sea.
Please excuse the UK or the British accent, but that's I've said it to that gentleman. Again, you can change things like icons, destinations, absolutely everything, and it performs perfectly well. I will be posting up, or will include a little video of me driving around with this routing me to a destination. But you can see it loads up really quickly. You can type in addresses really easily. This one actually does voice as well, so you can press that, tell it where you want to go. It suggests a list of different destinations. You just click what destination you want, and that's it. You go and you're done. That's for Waze. Google Maps was really good as well. I just prefer the look of Waze to Google Maps. But that's absolutely fine. As I say, originally I said I've got the Puck GPS connected to this unit at the moment, but this app or the navigation will utilise GPS, Wi-Fi and cellular data, as well as offline maps. It has an offline map thing, but to update you with traffic, speeds, any accidents, etc., it will need to be connected to some form of data. As I said, I've tethered it to my mobile phone at the moment, and it has the GPS as well, so it's working off of both, and as you can see how quickly that has picked up destination. And that is navigation really. It's really good, and it follows the car perfectly. There's no lag in it. It's not trying to catch up with you because you're going too fast or the signal's not being detected or anything. It really is quite smooth. Quite smooth indeed. So if we go back to menu, music, I haven't actually used this as of yet. If I click on it, it starts playing sort of, there's Chinese music files that are already installed, I think, just to obviously give you a demonstration on how the unit will work. But if you click on it, it plays, and it sounds really good, to be fair. You'd obviously use this particular application. Let's turn that down a bit. You'd actually use this application if you're connecting a USB drive or a small HDD, or if you put an SD card with music in the side of the unit again, that's where you'd access this sort of music. That's where you access these sort of files like music for this. That's what this thing be. And this does work with the steering wheel controls, as you can see. And the sound is, I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up on this, but it's fantastic. It is, you know, absolutely fantastic. It's pretty basic, to be fair. The music app does what it does. For if anyone's interested in equalizer settings, in the settings on this menu, when you go through to the settings menu, where is it? There it is, settings. There is an equalizer function on that. Alternatively, I found out that you can actually download equalizer applications, which really do enhance the sound that comes from the speakers. So yeah, it's quite, again, customizable in terms of the sound signature that you get from the unit. It's easy, and it works. It integrates with the steering wheel's control to change the music, and obviously, as you can see, the touch screen works perfectly with it as well. Car info is what takes you back to the main OEM screen. Again, just does that. That's all it does really. Nothing fantastic or special in that. Video, again, you would use it for your SD, USB thumb drive connections. And again, this is a couple of it has a demonstration trailer, I think, for one of the Fast and Furious movies. I'll play it just to show you. You click on it, nice and quick, loads up. Job done. Again, that sounds really good and looks really, really good. But there we go. As I previously mentioned, my intention will be to play music and to navigate on this unit. But as you can see, again, you can use the steering wheel controls. If there was another video, I think it only has the one thing, but you can use the steering wheels to flick between different videos, episodes, etc. that you've got on your SD card and USB drives. Back to the main menu again. Your browser is your Google Chrome. I believe you can change that in the settings, what you want to be your default browser, or download another app and then select which one you want to be your browser, which it opens up in. Again, it loads up really, really quickly. It's there. This will be touchscreen. I imagine if you have an Android phone, there is a way to connect your phone to use as a wireless keyboard. There is an option actually in the settings to connect a wireless keyboard to it. I currently use an Apple iPhone X. I haven't bothered to see if there's a wireless keyboard to connect up. Again, this isn't my intention, but it works perfectly fine. Easy stuff to search, and that's it. It does it all pretty easy, to be fair. It's pretty good. I don't find that particularly cumbersome to use or laggy or anything. It's actually quite nice to use. A nice big screen, and I guess the touch works perfectly. You can actually go on to if you're looking for APKs or applications to download, you can actually search them on Google and download them directly from Google if they're not on the Play Store. For example, if they're like homebrew or homemade ones, that is what that is really good for. Next, your file manager is exactly what it says. It goes into the files. This is where you obviously delete or change different little bits and bobs. I haven't used this yet, but you can see it loads up pretty quickly. You can select the source that you want to, or the root source you want to look at. I'm not even sure what else is available on this, to be fair. With this, I haven't actually gone into this yet, but that is all there. I'm not even sure that's my phone, but you can see what it is there. And that goes change the view and stuff. Yeah, it has quite a few options again, depending on what your intended use and purpose is for that. TV is exactly what it says. That will be if you want to connect a digital TV tuner or at the back of the unit, a USB one. They do wireless ones. Alternatively, you can obviously wire something and have it somewhere else in your car. I have the digital TV tuner in this car on the OEM head unit. I don't intend on watching it. It's a very old school sort of feature, and I don't think I'd use it now anyway. But it's there if you want it. I'll click and just show it. It loads up. It will say no signal because I have nothing connected to it, but it would load up straight away had I had something connected at the back. The dashboard is the digital car dash. See, look, it shows things like that. No seatbelt on. It just shows basic things like temperature, how much you've got in your tank, whether the handbrake's pulled or not, and obviously I can rev the car because it is on at the moment. That's not fantastic. This, I don't think it really serves a great purpose, really. It is what it is. It works. There's a slight lag in it, as I would expect, trying to feed the information directly from the obviously the OEM screen there to this one, and that is what it is. There's not much to go into, to be fair. I'm not going to use it, but if you want to use it to be a little bit flash or anything, it's there if you want it. The next thing, phone link. I have tried this with my Apple iPhone X or iPhone 10. Connects up perfectly fine. Android is obviously going to do the exact same thing. It basically is a mirror link. Whatever's on your phone at the time, direction or the aspect, the way you turn it, will appear on here exactly that way. You can't touch the screen to select things on your phone. You will use your phone to do what you need to do, and it will obviously display on here. So it literally is just displaying what is on your phone screen at the time. Settings I've shown you. As I said, there are loads of different settings. Audio, you can change the different levels for calls and stuff. I've noticed that if you turn the media volume up, in regards to the Android display volume, this obviously changes the sound level of the music. You can turn this right up and there is no distortion. It does not distort music that comes through the speakers, which I'm really impressed with. If this goes up to 40, I might put that back down to 20, but it does not distort the music and it sounds really, really good. As I say, I got the Logic 7 system, so it's quite loud anyway. But should you do this on the standard speaker system, I imagine that will benefit you quite a bit. As I say, it does not distort the music or anything like that at all. Call volume is what it is with that. This obviously affects what comes out of the OEM unit if you're using the Bluetooth from the OEM as opposed to the Bluetooth for calling for the Android unit. And in regards to this, you have sound settings as well, which is also a really basic EQ, and they actually do make a difference. I just put one on a basic user one because I'm using the EQ that's on the OEM head unit, not the Android one at the moment, because I've sort of picked the perfect sound signature for myself on that. And that is what it is in that as well. If I go back, the rest is what it is, I believe, in that. Yeah, I go back to the main one and we'll take you into the apps. So that brings you into an apps menu like this, which is where everything is sort of back to sort of like a standard looking sort of Android tablet screen, should I say. As you can see, I've installed a few bits and bobs. Apple Music, I've downloaded a CarPlay app, which will work with my iPhone. Chrome comes as standard. Most of the stuff comes as standard. You can access your email. I imagine you can download other bits for Hotmail, etc. If you use any other form of email as an app. That's Google Maps, Play Store. This is the same stuff that is on the other menu, the BMW style menu. And as I said, I've downloaded Waze and Sygic. I'm currently using Waze, but I've looked at that as well, and that's quite good as well. You can download different packages for free in regards to where you are in the world. So you'll be Europe for myself, but you can actually specify where in the world you'd like to download, rather than downloading all parts of the whole thing in one go, using unnecessary memory basically. So that's actually quite good. I prefer Waze at the moment, but if I was to go abroad, maybe into Europe or elsewhere, I imagine that would be actually really, really good. And that's one that usually pops up on YouTube videos when being reviewed on this unit. So I'll run you just quickly through this. Again, I have Apple Music, obviously, because I have an Apple phone, and I prefer the Apple system to be. I'm a bit of an Apple fanboy, but I've got myself an Android head unit, so I'm not that much of a fanboy. But I use let's go back to it. I use Apple Music. There is obviously Spotify apps, and any other music sort of premium music setups that are available. They're all on a Deezer, etc. If you still use all that, they are available as apps on here. As I say, this will bring up, I've logged into my account, this will bring up all of my music, etc. It'll bring up all my songs. This is currently working off of my cloud music. As you can see, none of this is downloaded onto the unit, and it loads it up through the Wi-Fi or the tethered Wi-Fi on my phone. Yeah, I actually quite like this, but I will be using the CarPlay to play my music. But I thought I'd download this just to sort of see how it sort of performed, and that performs really well. Again, the music sounds fantastic through that, and that's streaming music as well, so it's not physically on this unit or on my phone, it's sort of working it off the cloud, and there's no lagginess, no breaking the sound, no buffering, etc. So it's really, really good. But that obviously will be based, if you're using the Wi-Fi connection, that will be based on how good the connection is at the time. Chrome, I've already shown you how Chrome works. Maps, loads up Google Maps. As I say, I've been using Waze, but Google Maps is available there as well. You got a good choice. I think that's where to go with that, really. That's pretty good. Play Store, where you want to download all your apps and stuff. Again, you've got whole access to all this stuff, as well as downloading APKs or apps through Google as well, the ones that aren't on here. But you can have literally everything, absolutely everything. You search for it, it's going to be there. You can do everything on this unit pretty much, so it's pretty comprehensive, should I say. One thing I will note or mention is that the iDrive knob will not be able to navigate you through these when you go into some of these apps. You can navigate yourself through this with the knob, as you can see, but when you go into some of the apps, you will need to use the touchscreen. If it's for music, obviously you can use the steering wheel to change your thing, change the songs, etc. But with maps, you will need to touch the screen to input or use voice input to navigate yourself around. Based on the laws in your country, whether you stop and pull over to do that is completely up to you. I'm not advising anyone to drive and use the screen at the same time for touch. But that is how some of the things actually navigate. So the iDrive knob can take you through this menu, but when you're on something like Waze or Maps, for example, or the Play Store, you will need to use the touchscreen to navigate through. The knob will not take you through this. The iDrive knob will not take you through this menu. As you can see from the whole thing, there's no lagginess. This unit will, it rolls through things nice and quickly, nice and smoothly, and I have had no issues. There's been no issues in regards to any lagginess, any crashing, any pausing, anything like that at all. I've had this on for quite a while, so there's no overheating. There's no issues at all. As I say, the only issues I think people will experience is if you do not set the correct settings for your vehicle. They're the only ones you will, and it will be user error. It will not be the unit that will be at fault. So when you're connecting it, if you do decide to go for this, please make sure that you're going through the settings and setting up correctly for your vehicle, as well as the OEM options that are on your car. Be aware of what OEM options you have, so you can go into the settings and correctly sort of marry this unit up with what is already in your car. Right, we'll move on to the next bit now, guys. So we'll be going through a couple of the common questions that were being asked, and obviously the things I've noted as I've sort of been installing and going through everything. As I mentioned, I think Bluetooth music, if you're going to stream Bluetooth music, I don't think this is going to be the right unit for you. The quality of the Bluetooth streaming isn't fantastic. For calls, it's absolutely fine, but for quality on sound for music, it's not that fantastic. I would suggest that you connect it up via aux and then use an app, or connecting your phone directly to the unit with the dual USB that comes connected to it. And that, as I said, I've fed that through my glove box currently, but I will be taking that through the center console into the armrest, because it's all nice and neatly down there. Yeah, it looks so much better, and that's normally where I'd have my phone, or I might have it down here, because that's where I will connect my phone via the CarPlay. Apologies for that. Yeah. iDrive control and touchscreen, as I said, as long as you set up the settings, your iDrive control, or the knob, will work perfectly, nice and fluid and smooth. It's only when you go into some of the Android apps or the menus within the apps will it require you to use the touchscreen. But most of the things where you are required to use the touchscreen, you will be stationary, or you would have set these things up prior to driving, like your settings, for example. You wouldn't be changing these whilst you're driving. Not only is it dangerous, but you wouldn't have set the unit up correctly before you intend to obviously make a journey. So for moving, when you're on the move, the iDrive knob will cover all the bases there, shall we say. It will do all the things you need it to do. That's 12 o'clock. Changing the menu look, that came up as well as a question. As I said, if you go into the settings, you'll go to system info, factory setup, and sorry, let's try it again. There we go. As I said, you'll go into the factory setup there, and you change it via this little menu here, and this will change the look. Someone mentioned about having the different amount of icons. You can have, depending on which system you pick, it can display 3, 4, or just a list. That is, again, personal choice. There is loads of ways to display the main menu, this menu here. As I said, you can even download APKs or apps from the App Store or through the Google Chrome, through the browser, and you can change the entire look exactly how you want it to look. These are just the ones that come pre-installed on this head unit, and it's giving you the BMW, the latest OEM looks to the car, which I'm happy with, but some people may want it a little bit more sort of practical for their personal uses. So you can have all the information on one screen. You can have music, navigation, time, date, etc., weather, everything like widgets and what have you on this one screen, and obviously you can touch them as you need them. There is no hanging or lag on this interface or using this unit at all, and that it's been operated in freezing cold mornings that we've had here, and it's actually a nice warm day at the moment, and I've had this on for about 3 hours now, and there's no issues whatsoever. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. And I'm speaking from the 7.1.1 update firmware with the 2 gig RAM, 32 gig memory, or the other way around, should I say, 32 gig RAM, 2 gig memory. If your unit is the lower spec model, I can't speak for that model, but this one is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. There's no lag or issues with this whatsoever. You can go through anything you want, and it's all absolutely fine. Really, really smooth, really quick. Bluetooth, there we go, see? navigation. It's all really, really quick. But there you go. Optional extras. That is another thing I should have looked at as well. As I say, optional extras is quite endless, to be fair. Your optional extras is your CarPlay dongle. As I say, you can fit new rear and front facing reversing cameras, or dash cam, should I say, as well as reversing cameras and forward cameras. You can connect DVD players up to it. By the looks of all the bits at the back as well, you can also connect up games consoles to it, play through the screen. Absolutely anything. I do not think this is limited in terms of what can and can't be connected to this unit. Yeah, it pretty much is. If you want something for this unit or in your car, you can connect it. Even to the point where you can connect external amplifiers. It's got absolutely everything. There is 3 lots of aux in and outputs, left and right in outputs on this unit. You can do different speakers, as I say, different amplifiers. There is loads of options in terms of this unit. Loads of optional extras, and as I said, I will be connecting up a nice new HD or a higher quality reverse camera, because the OEM one's quite blurry. It's not great. I do not know if I will go for a wireless one or a wide one. I think either will work perfectly fine, and that's where I'm going with that, and a CarPlay dongle for my phone. In terms of cost, this has cost me £350, or it will cost you £350 from the person I bought it from, or the person you can buy it from. I will leave a link in the post, and I've got to say it's worth every penny. It really is worth every penny. What you're getting for that money is fantastic, and it completely changes the sort of the technology in this car. Just brings it all back up to 2018, all current in terms of navigation, applications, and what touchscreen, etc. Really does tick all the boxes for me. Really does, and it looks, as I say, it fits and looks fantastic. It's a solid, really well built unit. There is no issues, and as I say, installing it is really, really easy. You just got to make sure when you're installing that you do the wiring correctly. And as I say, there is loads of videos on YouTube that show you how to do this. There is no wrong way to do it, and you just got to remember the 2 things, which is the optical cable in the T-harness and the aux. Test this out. Test these things out before you put everything back, to make sure you're happy that it's working correctly before you obviously put it back. You can take this stuff out easily, but it's just a bit cumbersome. It's just nice to do it all in one go, nice and clean install, and no messing about. The only things that I actually wanted to point out in terms of issues, what I say they are, or things that I've noted, I think I've already pointed out that the Bluetooth music streaming isn't fantastic. That you have to set the settings correctly for your vehicle, and also if you're going to stick with the installed BMW interfaces that come with the unit, changing the text size in the settings, if I can get to it, not that one, that's it. If you go into settings and change text size, if it's in there, I'm not sure where it is. Basically, if you change the text size in the settings, I'm not sure if it's in there, that will, or the font size even, that will affect those menus. It makes them display incorrectly. So that is the only other thing I've noted, but as you can see, the font at its standard or original size is not tiny by any means. I just thought I'd change it to see, obviously, how it would look if I preferred it bigger or smaller. But as it is, if you leave it normally, displays perfectly fine. If you do change the font size in the settings, it does affect the way these menus display, and it doesn't look very good. If you do have any other questions or anything, please just comment on the video and let me know, and I can obviously get back to you as soon as I can. Give you as much information as I possibly can. And once again, please find the link to purchase this particular head unit. I just wanted to do this video. I hope it did help. Probably rambled on quite a bit, but when people are committing to doing things like this, changing the OEM stuff, or dropping a fair bit of money on installing things in their car, then it's nice to be informed. I know there's been a lot of sort of to-ing and fro-ing and a bit of and ahhing in regards to, should I do this or is it actually any good? From my personal experience, I can say fitting and using this unit is fantastic. It's probably one of the best and simplest modifications you could make inside the car or inside the X5 that you'll ever do, and it really is really good. I'm very happy with my purchase, and I just wanted to pass that review on to you guys, so you can make an informed decision whether or not you want to change or change the head unit, either for an Android style unit, or if you don't fancy this, then you can go and change it for the OEM CIC MBT systems, get them retrofitted. So I hope that helped you guys out. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day at sunny Southend, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day as well. Once again, leave any questions down in the notes at the bottom, or the comments at the bottom, and yeah, take it easy, guys.